Hello, welcome back everyone. So I took some time out and felt ready to pull a few cards. The cards that you're seeing here are from a deck that, from two decks that was gifted to me just recently by a YouTube follower and also someone who I have read for a few times. So I want to say thank you for gifting me these decks and also the timing of its arrival to explore these different perspectives that these decks that I'm showing here have to offer. The primary part of this reading is from the Erethereal Tarot, which I believe came out this year or the year before. Here's the cover of the box. It's the Erethereal Shadow Tarot. And then the card that I pulled here is from a tarot deck that is in its final edition. It's called the Lonely Dreamer Tarot by M. Wotherspoon. And there we have here, final edition. So I believe that deck came out this year, and it's the 3rd edition, and I'm looking in the guidebook right now. I don't know when the original one, the first printing, came out. This deck takes a little bit of the perspective from Zen Buddhism, and the imagery is somewhat abstract. Okay, it slows down the way that you view the cards in this deck. So the cards that I have here, they're almost like oracle decks. You got revealing, sorry for that shadow, confinement, embarking. It's very painterly, but in a very, look at this one, memory. There's a lot to read into when you look at these images. So when I was shuffling, primarily just these cards here, I pulled out Awakening, which is appropriate for where I need to start moving towards, but also shifts that are happening in lieu of me in the process of grieving and healing and all these feelings that are ebbing and flowing inside of me. So this card, the Awakening, is more or less the fulcrum of this reading. And what I mean by the fulcrum is just what the lessons that I will learn in the process of doing inner work. Now, this deck, as I mentioned to you, has the reference of Shadow Tarot, like it's meant to do shadow work. I have said in a previous video that you don't need to have a shadow deck to do shadow work. The dark inner psyche, whatever that's happening deep inside, can be revealed in most tarot decks. But this deck here in particular, the Erethereal, obviously is clearly focusing on targeting the inner psyche, the stuff that we hold on to and we don't really do the work to do, to heal from it. This deck, for me, when I was looking at the cards, has a underworld feel for me. It's like you are going from the external realm, but you're going into those darker waters that a lot of us don't explore very often. So this deck is perfect for me. When I was looking at the images, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the deck. And it's not so much because it's the shadow work, but it's something that I feel I need to visit again. So I'm not gonna do a review of the deck, but this is quite beautiful. It has gold gilding on it, and we'll see how good this gilding will last. Hopefully I won't be using this deck too much, but only on certain occasions. These are the cards I pulled from this deck, and I got the 9 of Wands, 4 of Swords, 10 of Cups, and 10 of Pentacles. So we have a lot of endings and beginnings starting here with these 2 cards. And then I got Strength, Ace of Swords, and King of Pentacles. Okay, so look at the commonality of what's happening here with the cards that I've pulled. So since this deck is still pretty new to me, when I get a new deck, I break it up into its suits, into the major arcana, into the aces, and into the court cards. And what I wanted to do with this particular reading is apply that same perspective. So I broke it up into the suits, and I shuffled each of the suits individually. Okay, and when I was ready, I pulled a card. These are all from the top. From each of the suits, from the major arcana, aces, and the court cards, and this was my reading. So with the 9 of Wands, I'll show you the back of the cards here. This is also a little bit abstract, but there's a little bit more detail involved in it. And I think that's why I enjoy both of these decks, the Erethereal and the Lonely Dreamer, because it's telling my mind and my soul just to kind of slow down and really see what's happening in these images. So here we have the 9 of Wands. And so with this card here, what I like the interpretation is that we have water and fire. Okay, we're seeing the stormy waters hitting against these large rocks, rock formations, and we've seen the fire. It's like the volcano. Everything's erupting. You know, when water goes into fire, it forms steam. We're seeing this energy shifting, the emotions and the movement of those emotions, and how it's slowly being released. And this, for me, with this 9 of Wands, this is the process of where I am at this time. The emotions, sometimes stormy at times, and the fiery, the pain that sometimes comes with these emotions, being softened a little bit, being slowed down a little bit through the waters, and then being released from above. And actually, when you look at this card, it looks like it's some image of a creature of some sort, and what the waves and the fire, what the water and the fire does, and it forms this mystical smoke, steam above this area, almost like the conscious area. This card has a lot of air in it, and the more I work with this deck, I'm going to be connecting more of this element. A lot of steam, a lot of smoke in it. The next card I have here is the 4 of Swords. Okay. 4 of Swords, a good sign for me, or reminding me to slow down this energy, time to rest. We have the 4 of Swords up above, we normally see the swords in different positions with the in various tarot decks, but here the swords are upward. And here we see it could be a bed or a couch. There's a lot of deep imagery that's happening here, and it's just this moment of just, you know, being still, lying down, no movement, letting go of the mind, letting go of anything that has been of trouble, of anguish, just to let it go. Next card I have here, excuse me, I have here the Ten of Cups. I almost want to say with this Ten of Cups, it's like the amalgamation of energy, masculine, feminine. If I can relate this to my father, I could probably say this was the last moment, that the exchange of energy before both of us went our own ways, and just making peace and saying, I love you, goodbye, how much you meant to me, so on and so forth. This is the card for me of ultimate healing. You know, knowing that this time that I'm going through will pass. We all know that whenever there's something difficult happening and we're working through it, this too shall pass. But the memory will always be there. You have the rainbow of colors, the joining of all those energies, of light and dark, love, anger. Ten of Pentacles. This is at first I didn't know what to make of this card, because there's no wealth. There's no wealth. There's wealth in my world in some ways, but not in a material sense. Okay. I will take this more as abundance of what you have, finding the wealth in your resources, finding the value of it. Things that are of great importance to you may not be of importance to other people, but knowing that what you have, what you can utilize to make that wealth, that abundance, that to make you happy, and for others to see that you are that you have a sense of security, that you are doing okay. So these two cards here, the Ten of Cups and Ten of Pentacles, is actually one of promise, one of what the path has ahead for us, or for me. Even though this reading is for my journey, you can still apply this to certain aspects of what's going on in your world as well. So I share this with you. Okay, sip of water. All right, so nothing nicer when it comes dealing with grief to get the Strength card. When I saw this card, I'm like, okay, Remember what I was saying earlier about clouds, smoke, air elements? Here it is again. And this is beautiful. I'm just going to move this card up a little closer. Because here we see a ship. But it's like being supported by clouds. But look at the strength of these clouds. This boat seems to be floating on the darker part of a cloud, a stormy cloud, but look what surrounds it. There's still space. There is what is above. We have the lightness here. What is below? It's riding out the storm. And yes, I am. This card makes sense to me. just hands down. I can't elaborate more on this. Finding the strength. And I was emailing Nancy from A Crone's Intuition. I was sharing with her a comment that my father said to me not too long after my mom passed away. Because I'm an only child. My dad said to me, Amy, I need you to be strong. Because it's only you and me. That was about 30 years ago. And I think about that now, what he said. There's only you and me. Now my father's gone, and now it's just me. So this card is a reminder of my dad's will and faith and belief of you know, going forward. And I have that in me anyhow. And sometimes things are taxing and a little bit so too overwhelming that any kind of strength can seem difficult to you know, maintain and to make use of. But this and my dad's comment will keep me moving forward. Okay, Ace of Swords. So Ace of Swords, new outlook, a new view of things. I'm feeling very strongly with this card that this is all about once everything has been removed, this is the beginning of new ways. Okay, there's been a death in my life. Death is the ending. Okay, just like that death card. Even though the death card didn't show up, the death card represents letting go. Things that are no longer with us, things that are no longer of service to us. We now have space to move forward. And that's where I am right now. Moving forward very, very slowly. This isn't going to happen immediately. But this is time to take actions with the way that I see things. And I'm doing a lot of personal reevaluating right now. Thinking some of the things and choices that I've made and actions that I've made weren't going to be as long-term as I had thought, you know. And so now it's time to move to the next experience. King of Pentacles. This was kind of eerie for me to get this because I was sent photos of my father's memorial and burial, and when I did my YouTube live, I did make mention that I saw a few photos and how my father didn't look like my father. you know, because once the body passes physically, you know, there's no life source, there's no blood, there's no water running in it, so the body changes. And so look at the face here. It's kind of corpse-like. So when I saw this card, I mean, this is all psychological too, you know. I don't necessarily have to relate this to the way my dad looks when he, you know, when I saw that photo of him, but it does have a, it kind of looks like the look on my dad's face when I saw him in the casket. And, but we have here King of Pentacles. Okay, we had the 10 of Pentacles in this other reading. I'm going to pull this card and show it like this so I could share you my insight. Again, this journey for the 10 of Pentacles is just what we have, what is of value. King of Pentacles is sometimes seen as more of the masculine energy, our take when it comes to our material well-being. It could be our body as well. But here, with the King of Pentacles, there is a protection of what we have. Okay, and guarding it. Okay, because there has been a lot of work that's been done. This can be the outcome of this 10 of Pentacles, the results of what we may have gained further from this card. The additional wealth, the additional abundance, and how we got to it, and how we nurture it, and how we care, protect it, and secure it. This card for me, the King of Pentacles, is one that is not to take things for granted. Don't take things at face value. Hold on to what we have. Okay. And maintain it to the best of our abilities. You know. So again, going back to this card, we have the Awakening. And this is, again, the center point of this reading. Going through all of these experiences and having this energy shift. This is going to be the next journey for me. So let's see what's going to be happening. We're also Saturn in Pisces. I mentioned that in the discussion. And Saturn in Pisces is going to be in that placement for, I think, until 2025. So there's going to be a lot of work that's going to be done for many of us. And it's a good kind of work. Saturn in Pisces is a good placement, because Saturn is earth. Pisces, as we know, is water. Saturn is discipline. It is of structure. It is of limitations. Pisces is a mutable sign and needs to move. It flows. It kind of goes with what's going on, and it's conscious. It gives. Pisces is sort of a free, spirited, subconscious individual. They feel comfortable in that realm. But I think also too, it's important for Pisces, when Saturn comes in, to kind of put structure in what's going on, right? What are you doing in your subconscious? You know, are you just hanging out there and just feeling comfortable? We got to do some work. We got to put some order into what's happening. You know, and this is what I feel is going on here. This is pretty much a Saturn and Pisces reading, I feel, for me. You know, we're looking at the deep under layers of what's happening and how to work through it all, okay, to get to this point and focus of awakening. Okay, so those are my thoughts with these two decks. This is the Erethereal Tarot. I'll put it in the description, the website, so you can take a look at the deck and its creator. And the same here for the Lonely Dreamer Tarot. I'll put the link on it so you can take a look. And if you have either one of these decks, let me know what you think, how you feel about it, how it may, how it's influencing you in any way. So this reading's going to stay on the table for a while, so I can sit, view each of these cards, and see how I feel as each day goes by for me. Thank you, everyone, for listening and being supportive during this time for me. And I'm happy I did go to the deck, these two decks, and to do readings. It feels like it's in the direction of where I am right now and where I need to go. So I appreciate it, and I share this reading with everyone as well. Any comments, you know what to do. Leave them below. Feel free to like, subscribe, let people know about this channel. I'm slowly, please give me some time, I'm slowly working on this channel as things happen. You know, we have life and things come in, and those take priority. All right, everyone have a wonderful week, and I will see you again soon.